What's up guys, Miss Pass here, back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and we are back with another episode of my Commander Luke Skywalker mini-series videos where I talk about the new characters and the reworks, and today we are talking about Rebel Officer Leia Organa, or as many people have affectionately started calling her, ROLO. She is a rebel attacker, a new character in the game. She appears to have a fairly decent amount of health and protection based on the animations, GIFs, whatever that they've provided to us in the forums, which I will link in the description below. And so she doesn't appear to really be doing that much damage. Her basic attack, now granted, the GIF shows her attacking a stormtrooper, which by nature has very high defense and high armor, and only critting for about 4,300. So that is a little bit discouraging, because I would probably prefer her to actually do a decent amount of damage if they're going to call her an attacker. However, she appears to be an attacker in the same way that Jedi Knight Anakin is an attacker, which I guess that's not really a good example, because now Jedi Knight Anakin hits really hard. Okay, imagine Jedi Knight Anakin before his rework, if you were around to experience that. He didn't hit very hard before. Let's just put it that way. He had high health, high protection, and he didn't hit very hard. So Princess Leia seems to kind of be in that same boat. However, her basic attack does inflict buff immunity, and no, it's not a percent chance, it straight up inflicts buff immunity. So she will need to have a decent amount of potency. We don't know what her base potency is right now. And she gains turn meter plus additional turn meter based on conditions, namely if the target had full health and if the target was Empire. So all said, she'll gain 30% health 30% turn meter if the target was full health and an Empire character. So she'll gain a significant amount of turn meter with her basic attack. Leia's special ability seems to be where she's going to really kind of earn her salt, and that is her AoE that deals physical damage 10 times to random enemy targets. So there's no rhyme or reason which targets get the attacks, or which targets are hit, or how many times each target is hit. So enemies struck more than once will suffer ability block for 1 turn. The ability's cooldown is reduced by 1 whenever Leia scores a critical hit or suffers a debuff. The base cooldown on that, with the Omega, is 14. So she's got to land 14 crits, which, you know, she's going to hit 10 times with the ability when she uses it. So a potential 10 turn meter or turn reduction on her cooldown with that attack itself, and then if she suffers a debuff, that reduces the cooldown yet again. And then if she lands a crit with her basic, say she has a counter attack under a Commander Luke Skywalker lead, or with retribution granted from General Kenobi, she's going to reduce that cooldown even further. So with the amount of debuffs flying around in this game, I would imagine that ability to be off cooldown fairly often. I wouldn't get too discouraged by that 14 turn cooldown on that special ability. Now, where that ability is going to start really doing damage is when you have fewer targets on the field, because obviously those 10 attacks are going to be consolidated amongst all the targets on the field. So if you only have 1 target left and she uses that special ability, she's going to land 10 hits on that target. Now granted, it's not doing a massive amount of damage, it's only doing around 4,000 per crit, but you know, it could be a very useful ability to have in your side hip pocket. Now, her leader ability, I don't really think it's going to overshadow Commander Luke Skywalker, but for those of you who are able to participate in terrain battles but can't get Commander Luke Skywalker, this may actually be a pretty handy leader ability. Fully upgraded, it reads, Rebel allies have 20% tenacity and 20% crit chance, so a little bit better than base Princess Leia, right? But in addition to that, whenever a Rebel ally takes damage from an Empire enemy, they have a 50% chance to gain foresight for 2 turns. Pretty nifty. The first time each turn, a Rebel ally resists a detrimental effect or suffers a debuff, they will gain 30% turn meter. So turn meter going out all over the place, foresight potentially going out all over the place if you're facing a bunch of Empire, and tenacity and crit chance. So I think her leader ability may actually be pretty useful for some players. Granted, she is going to be a reward out of the terrain battles, so keep that in mind. Leia's unique is a little bit interesting, and I'm not 100% solid on how it works, but fully upgraded. Now granted, this is a Zeta. Leia has plus 10% offense and 40% tenacity. The first time each turn that Leia resists a detrimental effect or suffers a debuff, she gains 15% turn meter and gains 35% offense, stacking until the end of her next turn. That is part of the Zeta upgrade. The Zeta upgrade increases or gives her the 10% offense and gives her the offense gain until the end of her next turn. Now, where it says suffers a detrimental effect or suffers a debuff, I don't know if turn meter reduction counts as a detrimental effect. It may or it may not, because I know with tenacity up, you cannot have your turn meter reduced. So resisting that turn meter reduction may or may not give her turn meter and offense. I can't know that without testing her in maybe Galactic War or something, but this is the Zeta upgrade. So it does stack 35% offense, and that is each turn that Leia resists a detrimental effect. So that's not just her turn or whatever, it's every time an enemy takes a turn. So if you have a really, really fast squad of enemies and they're landing a lot of negative status effects on her, she's going to be getting a lot of turn meter and offense. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe. Check out my Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and as always, join the Discord server to continue the conversation, and I will catch you all later.